If there's one thing that we definitely know for certain, we know that the Tories are well and truly going to be suffering a very, very bad Christmas this year. After all, the North Shropshire seat was meant to be the safest seat there was ever. And if that is no longer the case, what is now the case for the rest of their safe seats? Are they too also in jeopardy of falling to the Lib Dems? And I guarantee you today at Lib Dem Party HQ on a Saturday, they are going to be still very much celebrating this very hard-won win. Now, I did say before we need to look at, of course, the case for why this happened. And today we're going to look at the leader of the Lib Dems, Ed Davey, to see what he has to say about the reasons why he thinks the Lib Dems not only won there, but can potentially be beaten anywhere now. And again, yes, he is the leader of the Lib Dems, so of course he's going to be a bit biased. So bear that in mind with everything that he says. Take it with a touch of salt. But again, so be aware. But again, we are still obviously at the moment still waiting on official analysis to see what really happened and went down here. Did, as a lot of people are suggesting, that farmers who were pro-Brexit have now turned on the Tories because of essentially the deal that has been done not only with Brexit, but even potentially the Australian and the New Zealand trade deal. By the way, something that went very unmentioned recently. At the same time that the Tories lost their by-election, it was also announced on Friday morning that we have indeed signed a trade deal with Australia. Now, again, I haven't yet seen the full details of this. I don't think many people have either yet, so we're still trying to wait and see what the full details of that Australian deal are. Needless to say, if this has a negative impact on farmers, we could see, again, a very strong Tory voting bloc completely disappear. What is that impact going to have on other Tory rural areas? So let's dive into see what Ed Davey had to say on this and find out what this could mean, obviously, for a future general election. So please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button before we jump in. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and, of course, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do support the channel that way. And of course, as well, YouTube memberships are open as well, should you like to support the channel that way too. So let's dive into this then, shall we? So this comes from The Guardian with the title of "People Are Angry. And now we've shown that Johnson's Tories can be beaten anywhere." As the nights draw in and the days grow shorter, the people of North Shropshire have lit a flame of hope to brighten our nation. The Liberal Democrats have defeated Boris Johnson in Shropshire, just as we did in Buckinghamshire in June, and two heartland constituencies, more than 150 miles apart, written off as a foregone conclusion at every past election up until now. My party has shown that the Conservatives can be beaten anywhere. Because across the villages, towns, and cities of our country, people are fed up and angry. Throughout North Shropshire campaign, I spoke to lifelong Conservative voters who decided that enough was enough. Many told me loud and clear that they will never vote Tory again. In North Shropshire and earlier this year in Cheshire Marylsham, we have seen a very fundamental realignment of British politics, a generational shift in which the default setting of vote Tory has been reset. And again, almost word for word, by the way, what a lot of Tory people were saying about the Red Wall, that there has been a fundamental realignment of British politics. Has this now been really true and set in? Are we still seeing very much the aftershocks of the 2016 referendum, which again really kicked off this whole thing? We could still very well be seeing the aftershocks, but again, we'll have to see what happens next general election, of course. And we'll continue. And of course, it's not just the traditional Tory voters who backed the Liberal Democrats in this by-election. Once it became clear that my party was the local challenger to the Conservatives, Thousands of Greens and Labour voters supported votes for us too. That is a very powerful message for the progressive future of our country and a clear path for voting Johnson out of office. Again, Ed Davey pushing for an electoral pact. We just need the Greens and the Labour to get on board with that as well. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's important for our shared goal of beating Johnson and the Conservatives to remember that North Shropshire was not just about national issues and the national mood. It was very much about community politics. I've always believed that you cannot change the country until you've won the trust of local communities. Our new MP, Helen Morgan, is a fantastic local campaigner rooted in her community. On doorstep after doorstep, she won us support. In her, voters in Shropshire saw a community activist who shared their anger in an underfunded health service and a soaring ambulance waiting times. They saw the local residents who understood the struggles of their high street shops and local businesses are facing in a time of great uncertainty. And above all, they saw someone like them who lives and breathes their community and is determined to make local people's lives better. The next few months will be tough for Britain. With COVID infections rising, schools shutting early, and the soaring cost of living hitting pockets hard, we need a government that will listen and act. Yet, in Johnson's Conservatives, we have a government and a party that is not even listening to the scientists and taking people for granted. I want last night's results to show to the British people that there is an alternative to the Conservative Party. The Liberal Democrats will stand up for communities and demand a fair deal for everyone. This means better schools, safer streets, and an NHS given every resource it needs so that everyone receives the care they need. Delivering on a fair deal starts listening to people. In North Shropshire, and just as in Cheshire and Amersham, we have shown that when a political party takes the time to listen to people, they will give them the chance. Thanks to the people of North Shropshire, the beginning of the end of Boris Johnson is finally here. Is that true? Of course. Can this be replicated at a general election? A general election at this moment could very well be in 2023 or 2024. We don't know. Of course, and the big question gets asked, what if Boris Johnson gets replaced between then and now? Who will replace him? Most likely, the good money is on Liz Truss being Boris's replacement, but that's another conversation for another time. But needless to say, I think he's right. I think that the fact that the Tories had literally parachuted in a candidate from Birmingham who had never even been there in his entire life, and the fact that they were hiding him away so that local people couldn't talk to him, I think was a massive effect on their campaign. There's still the unsettled issue, of course, over how many farmers and people who are involved in rural agricultural businesses turned against the Tories on this as well because of, again, Brexit. That could be a very significant impact. And remember, this is a place that voted very clearly to leave in the 2016 referendum. Yet the person that they voted in is very, very pro-European. She was not shy about shouting out her pro-European roots on the campaign trail. She was very open about saying that the Brexit deal was not working for the country and for the people in North Shropshire. That could be, again, something significant that does come into play in the next general election. But we're going to have to wait and see. And like I say, they say a week's a long time in politics. A year and even 2 years, potentially before the next general election, is an incredibly long time. So the big question really is can honestly and truly the Lib Dems do what they've done here in these past 2 by-elections and at a general election turn it into a serious electoral success? That is the main question we're really going to be taking away from this. And of course, Ed Davey here, very much talking up the idea of an electoral pact. I'm very much in favour of that. If all 3 parties, the Greens, the Labour, and the Lib Dems get together and do it, excellent. So we've just got to get our fingers crossed and hope that is now the case. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And you can also support the channel by becoming a YouTube member as well. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.